last couple of months we've been trying a bit too much, and we think we make conclusions, but it's difficult to make conclusions if we haven't even tried it well and with a structure.
What we actually trying to achieve here is community-based learning. So the idea is that we come together to learn from each other, to inspire each other, to ultimately grow the revenue organization through those different perspectives and angles and viewpoints and opinions and experimentations, etc.
That was one of the challenges in the sales calls of like, what do you promise, what don't you promise, and what can they expect right now? And if you have a clear map, then you can show them.
Welcome to the Revenue Discussion Podcast. This is episode 25th. And every 5 episodes, Maarten and I give a little behind the scene of what is happening at Usights. So welcome back, Maarten.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back after 5 weeks, I would say. Some good episodes have aired the last couple of weeks. It's been very interesting, I would say. What was for you the best episode we had?
The best episode we had? That's a very, very good question. I have to say, I like all of them and in different ways, but one of my favorites was the one with Thomas D'Alberto, because it's we have had a lot of trainers and people that come with the theoretical framework, but Alberto could really put both worlds into the picture. The theoretical framework with how his day-to-day work looks like and how he puts it into practice, and so very, very insightful regarding that.
I couldn't agree more. It was a very insightful episode, especially like you said, it's a different viewpoint. It was the first time a real salesperson came on the podcast, so it was very interesting.
Yeah. All right, so today we will give a little update of what we are working on. So first point that we prepared, Maarten, was the partner first strategy. But maybe you should explain a little bit, what we mean with that, and also why did we come up with that strategy?
Yeah, I think it's a good point to start with, because it's a change for us in the way we work, I would say. Okay, partners always have been part of Usights. Look at We Are Sales. Everybody has seen Gong, Outreach, all those kind of companies that help us grow the company. And because we saw so much interest from these kind of companies to work with community, we thought, okay, let's leverage this for the goods of the company, for the community. So what we do with them is we organize events for their ideal ICP, but their ideal ICP is our ideal ICP, mainly salespeople in Belgium. And thanks to their events, we can give great experiences to salespeople in Belgium, so they get to know us, and so they can join the community and grow as a whole. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's very well summarized. And I think what I would add to that is that also it gives us a little bit of room, oxygen, to try out some things, because of course the way that we work there, it's that we are kind of an event marketing agency, and so we work with a budget, and there is a organizing fee for us, so that gives the cash inflow that we can use for the rest of the community activities. But then also, because we have those initial events for the partners, we bring also people to the community, and so in those two ways it's very interesting, because we have that initial cash inflow, but then at the same time we grow the community thanks to those partner events. And so I think that's that's kind of the reason why now it's partner first. It's not always going to be like that, but for the moment being, I think that's it works quite well.
And I think the last, like you just mentioned it, like testing new events. I think last month and a half, I would say, we have been testing quite a couple of like online-based events. In your opinion, what were the best ones we tried, and which ones maybe we should let go of or we should improve?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say because we have 3 types of virtual events, or that's kind of what we defined. We have the sales power session, where it's about 30-40 minutes of a webinar-based presentation with Q&A afterwards. We have the virtual roundtable discussion, where the idea is that no matter how many registrants we have, we put them in several breakout rooms of max 5 to 6 people, and they discuss, debate on a specific topic, because for some, topics, there is no actual truth. There are maybe guiding principles, but no actual truth. And so the idea there is to really brainstorm around, all right, how could we actually improve it? How could we do it the right way? And then the third type are the expert panels, where we have a moderator and 3 to 4 speakers, that will talk about a very a hot topic. So it could be about the economic crisis that's coming right to us, and how different types of people, could be a professor, could be a CEO, could be those different personas, how they look at the current situation and how we should actually try to play with it for the commercial engine. And so those are the three types of events. And I think the one that I am more inclined to are the expert panels, because there you just get in a short time frame very different point of views, and I think that's the ultimate win that you want to have. If you want to have that sales power session, it's good. And also depending on the topic and on the speaker, it works very well. But I think there, you have so many other alternatives. You just scroll through LinkedIn and you get that one point view on a certain topic. You can go to YouTube, type in a topic, and you get there also a video on that one topic. So I think that expert panels is, where the way that we provide value there is that we look for the right people from different angles, different perspectives, and we put them together in that one session. And there's still a Q&A afterwards if you want to make it very personalized to your case as an attendee. So that's my ultimate favorite. Regarding the virtual roundtables, I would say it works well if the people know each other very well too. I've seen it that, if it's a public event and anyone can just join and you have a mix of people that don't know each other, sometimes they don't dare to open up enough as they should, in my opinion. And so I would say that those virtual roundtable sessions where you debate on a specific topic is an excellent concept, but really for the people that are a premium member of the community, because there the people know each other, they have seen themselves in person, they already shake hands, they know each other's situation. So that there is what I would say is better for.
I also think something to add to that. People, okay, they don't know each other. That's a true point, but it's also they're often in a different situation. I think that doesn't help it. If there is an SDR from a certain company and there's a CRO debating together on a topic, it's not always easy, I would say. And it actually couples well with a different point we're going to talk about now, and that's the cohort-based sessions. It's a bit of an anecdote. Last week, Dylan called me again. Maarten, I have an idea for a new thing we have to try. And I was like, oh no, Dylan has an idea again. You have to try something new. But then you pitched me the cohort-based sessions, like a bit of 5 of those roundtables with very specific profile of people coming together for 5 sessions and then discussing all those problems that all wave with each other to get it's one big topic over those 5 sessions. And I think there you struck a chord he's actually right. Because instead of doing one roundtable about a random topic with random people, we can really curate it, say okay, we have one big topic, overarching topic with 5 smaller topics in there, and that's with the same group. That's how people really will be able to learn from each other. And that's a good point you made, and I think that's something we will do in the future now, once we found the right topic with the right people.
Yeah, and I think it's also part of the positioning game that we are struggling with right now, because we are positioning ourselves now as being a community, a network, but people, weirdly enough, they have that perception that, all right, it's a couple of events that the guys organize, and we go there to meet new people, to maybe generate new business. And I've seen that more often than I expected it to be the case. While what we actually trying to achieve here is community-based learning. So the idea is that we come together to learn from each other, to inspire each other, to ultimately grow the revenue organization through those different perspectives and angles and viewpoints and opinions and experimentations, etc. And so I think that there we are trying to now play with all right, how can we put an offering to the world where it's clear that it's that community-based learning. And I think indeed those cohort group learning program where you have different sessions regarding a topic, but you have to register for the cohort. That kind of plays with that best of both worlds, where you are in a community and also kind of a training institute. But of course, we don't want to be, So it's it's creating that new positioning, that new frame, and I think that cohort idea could actually work.
Yeah, especially if we can bring expertise from different fields, different countries, because that's the power we have, because we are a community, I would say I would say a neutral party that can bring knowledge together, and that's a good thing we can do. And with those cohort-based groups, we can define much more of a program, I would say, because now it was just we pick a topic that's hot and that's it. And okay, you will learn a bit, but you won't learn too much, and that's a big difference we can still do.
Can you maybe give an example of a cohort group topic, that would be the overarching topic for the cohort?
Yeah, I think last week we did a session with Michael about personal branding. And I think you said it very well a couple of times during that session. People are inspired to then go start doing it, the personal branding, after a session of 1 hour. But if we're going to look in 2 weeks, all of those people that were there, how many people are doing it? I think it might be one person. That's it. And if we would put it in a cohort with the different aspects of your personal branding, like how do you define your personal brand? How do you distribute your personal brand? What content do you make of your personal brand? And if you do that over a course of 5 weeks, and every week you keep each other accountable, like, okay, you should have done this last week. Where are you now? And I think if the peer pressure is there of like, okay, together we're going to all start working on our personal brand and we have certain goals into place, after those 5 weeks, probably 50% or 80% will be working on their personal brand. And because you're already doing it for 5 weeks, it starts to become a habit of, yeah, I'm thinking about it, I'm posting about it, I'm doing it. And I think then you will really learn. And then the aspect, like you just mentioned, of like really the trading institute, like you would say, gets more into it. And people start really doing it.
Yeah, I love it. It's really moving away from content dumping towards execution. Just
And
do the stuff.
And also, not just inspiration, because we like to inspire people with new ideas, like with Michael brought, or maybe an author of some kind of book, that you can get inspired of new things that are to learn. But then you really have to do it and put it into practice and link it with your daily activities. And only then you will implement it and improve it as a person.
All right. I like it. I still like the idea myself. So let's freaking try that out. But that's maybe also because if we move towards now the challenges, that's we said something earlier about want to try too many new things at the same time. And so can you maybe tell, what that challenge actually means for us right now?
I think it's something you mentioned last episode, that we are doing too much. We are trying new things because we're both very excited to try new things, which is a good thing, but not at this moment because we need to focus. And that's why, again, one of your ideas 2 weeks ago, I would say, we started with a roadmap, seeing like what are the things we're doing now and what are the things we're going to do in the next 6 months, year, and maybe even 3 years. That might be a bit far from now, but then we start to do that, like define really what are we doing now, what are we testing, what are we focusing on, and then say like, okay, in January we have a sales development day. In February we start with our cohorts, and then we can really see, okay, what is the difference we made by trying the new things and by adding new experiences, and then we can really judge which ones work and which don't. Because now, not now, I would say last couple of months we've been trying a bit too much, and we think we make conclusions, but it's difficult to make conclusions if we haven't even tried it well and with a structure.
Completely.
The structure was a bit gone sometimes.
Yeah, I think you say it there. It's really about creating a system of evaluation before jumping up to the next experimentation, because we want to do too much. That is true. That is okay actually, but we have to put it in a sequential order and be sure to move to the next experiment once we are done with the previous one. And that's a challenge that we now kind of solved with the roadmap, I think. We still have to see how that goes, but at least a roadmap gives us a visual representation of those experiments and gives to me at least some peace of mind of, right now we're just going to work on this, trust the process, execute on this, nothing else, right? Get that focus right. And then once we're done, or maybe we can evaluate it way earlier, and that's okay, but at least get that time frame just for that one project, that one experiment, and then once we're done and we can evaluate, go to the next one. And that's that helps.
And also, I think what also helps is it's easier to communicate to the outside world. If people ask us like, what are you doing? What are your plans? Then we can really say, this is what we are right now. And this is what will come extra. Because I think that's what you mentioned to me. Like that was one of the challenges in the sales calls of like, what do you promise? What don't you promise? And what can they expect right now? And if you have a clear map, then you can show them.
Yeah, very good point. No, indeed. When I look back at some sales calls, sometimes they were asking me, all right, but what do you guys have already? What do you guys do already? And I always want to pitch the vision and the overall mission of what we want to accomplish, but sometimes we are not, I mean, a lot of the times we are not there yet. So indeed, I think the roadmap idea came from there so that I can be honest in my explanation, but also, make it clear what we are aiming for and what we are going after.
And
Yep.
now we mentioned this, the sales aspect. Last episode we mentioned that it's still difficult to get the right members we want. How do you feel the sales is going right now?
It's practice makes perfect. So it's by having those new calls that you see some elements are getting easier to explain, or you get a better image also of what are the challenges, or what are the people, the potential community members looking for. And so, according to that, you actually kind of create a better playbook, I will say, to go and acquire new members. But yeah, I still have to say it's also really up to us. What are we going after? What kind of ideal customer do we want to get into the community, and what is the ideal offering, the exact offering that we want to offer? And I think as long as that is not 100% crystal clear, it is always going to be for me some kind of a challenge to sell it to them. And so, I mean, that's an iterative process that we are never stopping with. Um, but I think, yeah, and I think, now we have that cohort idea. We put everything into a roadmap. All of that makes it also much easier for me to explain it now. And it's, again, a more concrete version of the exact offering that we want to offer. And so I think that we are going up to a phase where, the offering will be crystal clear. I hope that we will get there soon, so that from their moment on, I know what I have to say. I know what I want to get also from the ideal customer in the call that we would have. And then, from their moment on, it's just going to be, I hope it's just going to be, simple math. If you have 100 conversation and maybe 20 conversation, say yes, and from there on, you can actually scale up the game. But right now, you cannot do that because you still have to define the basic metrics and actually define also the fundamentals before you can scale up that game.
But
Yeah,
I have to say those calls have helped us as well, even though they have been challenging.
100%.
They have. It makes us think like, what do people want and what do our ideal customers really need, and then from that on we can build our roadmap. We can build the initiatives they want, because if they want to learn, we have to provide it. So we have to listen to them. I think that helps us, because that's maybe also a thing we want to do this more. Doing the sales, but it's just time wise we have to really invest in it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't do enough sales, but also indeed the all the sales calls I had so far, they mostly started from, I'm very interested in what you would be looking for. Can we just have a short call? And it was not really about pitching, more about requesting feedback and getting opinions. But also, what I have learned is that you cannot expect to get the answer from the customer or the prospect. You really have to come up yourself with suggestions, ideas. You really have to frame the conversation towards a direction to test an hypothesis. People are not going to come to you with the amazing ideas. That's definitely something I learned.
All right, going to tomorrow. Tomorrow we have an in-person event, the first since We Are Sales. Is We Are Sales After Work. It sold out. Sold out. It was a free event for the members and on invitation, and it's been like all spots are taken. What do you expect from the day?
Honestly, I'm super excited for that day. I think it's gonna be pretty all right, actually. I don't know what about you, but I'm actually pretty confident. We have a great partner, and we should really thank them again, Google, and more specifically Edward from Google. Really thankful for all of their help and contributions to the event. But yeah, I think indeed, we have invited a couple of people. Very quickly, we went to the 100 registrations. Well, actually, we are now about 110, 120, which actually means indeed it's kind of sold out. But yeah, we have a lot of things prepared. It's really going to be entire focus on get to know each other. So we have some networking games, if I can call it like that. We will incentivize at least the networking aspect again. And so I think that's going to be cool. We also have two amazing speakers. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that because you are in contact with them.
Yeah, before I go to the speakers, I just want to add to the people part. I think in the beginning we thought like, okay, we do a waiting list and we have to select the people that fit our community. And I think to our surprise, almost everybody or even everybody that applied to be part of the event or registered for the event, all were part of our ideal customer. So I was like, yes, this is good. People know that the people that we want know that they have to be at the event. And that was a good thing. And on the speaker side of things, first of all, we have Sophie. We know Sophie already from We Are Sales. She was in one of the panels. And now she will talk about why she changed position and how you can how you have to look at career changes as a sales leader, as a person in sales. So it will be very interesting. And the second session is from somebody I didn't know myself that came from Edward again, and that's Jeroen. Jeroen will talk about sales on steroids. I don't know what to expect from it, but I've heard he's a great speaker, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, so am I. Really, no, really excited, and also just excited to have that community coming together again. And now, the first time that we brought people together was in the context of We Are Sales, so it was the very first time. Nobody knew what to expect. We didn't either, actually, or at least not the people that were going to come there. But now we already know some people. We also know that some people know each other, and so it's already going to be feeling much more like a community. And so very excited to see how that goes.
I think we will update all of the listeners once it's over in the next episode. Maybe a good thing, another thing, what can people expect in the next talk we have? Like in 5 weeks we talk again, Dylan. What will be the changes?
Well, in 5 weeks we will have already a couple of partner events that will have taken place. We will have the We Are Sales Afterwork that will have taken place. We should already have some additional info about We Are Sales 2023. Also, the Sales Development Day of 2023, which will be a first edition actually of that concept event. And honestly, I hope also that, coming out of that We Are Sales Afterwork, we might expect, especially from the people that, participated from the invitation, that are not members yet, that maybe they would love to become a member based on their experience there. And, that can give us, again, much more visibility in terms of feedback. What did they think of the event? What they would like of a community? Also, we will present the roadmap there. So again, very interested to get their feedback in what would they be more interested from what they see on the roadmap, and are they also enthusiastic about that? Did they know we were planning a roadmap like that? So yeah, actually, I think that in the coming 5 weeks we will have a lot of feedback and a lot of new points to talk about.
Perfect.
No, do you have something else that you would like to add to that, or?
I think that's perfect. I think those are enough to-dos for us to prepare the next call we have. So yeah, I think we see the rest. We see the people on the next episode.
Let's do that. Maarten, thank you again, and see you in 5 weeks, man.
See you soon.